Uber driver picks up a passenger from the airport and learns a harsh truth about her personal life. While Brienne may have been starting a new position as an Uber driver, this was not the only major event affecting her life at the time. Her boyfriend's mother had just been admitted to the hospital, which understandably put stress on the couple. With her boyfriend taking a flight to New York to visit his mother, Brie was now left on her own to start her new job. Barely an hour after her boyfriend's departure, and Brie already received her first Uber client, a woman who needed to be fetched from the airport of all places. With her seatbelt buckled and her key in the ignition, Brie was ready to hit the road. Little did she know that her first Uber ride would change her life as she knew it. At the time of this story, Brie had been with her boyfriend for quite a while. It was love at first sight for this duo, as they immediately began dating after their first encounter. While their relationship may have started out casually, the couple's feelings for each other were so strong that they soon decided to enter into a committed relationship. In fact, Brie soon started considering that this may be the man with whom she would like to settle down. While their relationship may have been fruitful, the one issue that the couple did experience was their lack of quality time together. While her boyfriend remained focused on professional life, Brie found herself struggling to balance her numerous jobs. Sure, the couple went out of their way to spend time together. However, this proved difficult due to their extreme lack of free time outside of work. Nevertheless, the couple continued to make their relationship work, and Brie continued to find ways to spend more time with her boyfriend. Having overcome their time issues, the couple's love life was overall running smoothly. That was until Brie's boyfriend received some troubling news. His mother, who was very ill, had taken a turn for the worse and was now in hospital. Visibly grief-stricken, Brie's boyfriend decided to book a flight to New York for the next day so that he could see his mother. While originally planning to talk to him about their future, Brie decided to put her talk on hold and keep him company for the whole night before his flight. Having already packed his bags, Brie's boyfriend waited in anticipation for his flight the next day. This issue highlighted the difficulties of living so far away from one's parents. While Brie sympathized with him, there was little she could do to improve the situation. Brie nevertheless did her best to comfort her boyfriend, because family is such an integral part of life. Brie knew that her boyfriend would be deeply affected by his family problems. She, therefore, did her best to comfort him throughout the night. Soon enough, a tough night was over, and Brie's boyfriend was ready to travel to the airport. Before going their separate ways, Brie warmly embraced her boyfriend and assured him that everything would work out. He then kissed Brie goodbye before heading towards his vehicle. Following a difficult goodbye, Brie headed towards her own car in preparation for her Uber job. Brie immediately started to miss her boyfriend as soon as they parted ways. While she knew that she would not be able to call him while he was still on the flight, Brie decided that this would be an opportune time to do more driving and make some extra money. While she was still lost in thought over her boyfriend, her phone sent a beep, notifying her that she had a customer waiting. Upon checking her phone, Brie noticed that her passenger needed to be picked up from the airport of all places. Once she arrived at the airport for the pickup, she noticed that her customer is a woman in her late 20s. What Brie didn't yet know, however, is that a shocking surprise awaited her during the Uber ride. With the passenger's apartment number already entered into the system, Brie started driving. The passenger was quite talkative and explained that while she didn't live in the city, she had come to visit her boyfriend. She couldn't help but explain how much she missed her boyfriend and how excited she was to see him. As they continued to drive, the passenger kept speaking about how excited she was to see her boyfriend. While she was happy to have a new customer, the chat got Brie thinking even more about her boyfriend. With her mind now focused solely on her boyfriend, Brie started to feel a sense of sadness because of the distance between them. By now, 15 minutes had passed and the car had nearly reached its destination. As they entered through the apartment complex's gates, Brie got an uneasy feeling. This was, after all, an apartment complex that Brie herself was all too familiar with. Because the passenger did not know which specific apartment building to head over to, Brie waited for her to call her boyfriend to get the apartment building number. Once they had entered the complex, Brie and her passenger began counting down building numbers as they continued down the road. Finally, they managed to find the correct apartment building. While the passenger was excited to see her boyfriend, Brie was in disbelief over her sudden realization. Of all the apartment buildings, this was the exact one where her own boyfriend lived. While she had just been there comforting her boyfriend a few hours ago, Brie had now returned because of her job. This only made her miss her boyfriend even more. While this coincidence gave her a shock to the system, what she was about to see next was even more chilling. As Brie peered over the parking lot, she came across a car that looked all too familiar. While at first in disbelief, Brie decided to climb out of her car and get a closer look for confirmation. Upon looking at the car's number plate, Brie's worst fear had been realized. The car she had just spotted belonged to her boyfriend. While the Uber driver's temper had started to build up, she decided to contain herself until her passenger had left. In Brie's eyes, her worst fear had suddenly been realized. As she struggled to wrap her mind around what was going on, the next thing that came out of the passenger's mouth finally put Brie out of her misery. As soon as she spotted the car, the passenger stated, "I think this is it right here. This is his car." While taken aback by the passenger's words, Brie decided that it would be best to take a moment to allow what just happened to sink in. Unfortunately for Brie, the drama was not over yet. Soon she would get up close and personal to an all-too-familiar face. Brie and the passenger were now waiting inside the car for the boyfriend to arrive. Throughout the wait, Brie was trying to process everything that her boyfriend had previously said. Did he lie about his mother's health? Is he really still here after all this time? She did not, however, have to wait too long in order to uncover the answer to all her questions. As soon as the boyfriend appeared, Brie was gobsmacked. The boyfriend that her passenger had been speaking about is the same boyfriend that Brie had all along. It was now clear that this man's story about his mother had been fabricated, and he had never intended to fly to New York. Now it had been confirmed that he had been cheating on Brie with the woman who was her passenger. While there were numerous hints that pointed to the worst-case scenario, the personal appearance of her boyfriend provided Brie with the most heartbreaking sting of them all. While finding out that someone has been cheating on you is bad enough, it cannot get much more painful than uncovering this betrayal while in the presence of your boyfriend and the woman he is cheating on you with. Brie was livid, and as soon as she made eye contact with her boyfriend, she truly started to flare up. As soon as the guy spotted Brie sitting alongside his other girlfriend, he was completely mortified. He became so panicked that he immediately turned to run. As explained by Brie, his A come out the house ready to assist with luggage, and the devil rose up out of me like you're a dead A right now. He runs. As soon as her boyfriend started to flee, Brie sprung out of the car and chased him down. Before he could reach his apartment, Brie caught up with him. With her temper flaring, Brie was about to deliver him some painful justice. Infuriated by this appealing discovery, Brie started pummeling her boyfriend, embarrassing him in front of a number of witnesses. While he could have tried to cool down the situation by apologizing, her boyfriend instead kept trying to push her away in a bid to get the chance to escape back to his apartment. While she continued to deliver blow after blow, Brie suddenly felt someone else's hand grab her arm. She turned around only to see that it was her Uber passenger who had now decided to get involved. Things were about to get even messier. While this would have been an opportune time for the Uber passenger to jump in and discipline Brie's boyfriend for his disloyalty, she decided to instead confront Brie. As Brie exclaimed on social media, "As I'm hitting him, I guess the nurturing woman her decided to protect our man, and she tries hits me, bitch." Still fired up, Brie turns to the other woman and begins to defend herself. While she easily gained the upper hand on this mistress, her boyfriend then decided to get in the middle of the fight to protect her against Brie. Ironically, he of all people then called Brie crazy. Eventually, it became clear to Brie that it would be best if she escaped from this confrontation. Until Brie had finally gotten into her car, her boyfriend's mistress continued to hit her. It almost came across as if, ironically, it was Brie who was guilty of transgression. As she fled the apartment complex in her vehicle, Brie felt devastated. Not only did she find herself in the middle of a horrific confrontation, but her ability to place trust in other people had now disappeared. Fortunately, this would not be the end of Brie's story. By this stage, Brie was sad, tired, and out of steam. After such a heated fight, the only thing she wanted was a shoulder to cry on. Luckily enough, Brie's mood was about to be significantly lifted. Soon, Brie would spot something in her car that would make her feel a whole lot better. Of all things, Brie saw that her passenger left her luggage in the car after getting sucked into the chaos. Seeing as she continued to hit Brie until she got into her car, Brie certainly wasn't in the mood to give it back right away. By keeping the luggage for herself, Brie had served her boyfriend and his mistress a huge dose of karma. While Brie had no intention of giving the luggage back anytime soon, what she was about to do next would only escalate the sting of karma that her boyfriend and his mistress would be reeling from. Brie decided to broadcast this bizarre experience on Twitter. While Twitter is known for being one of the world's most popular social media platforms, few could have predicted the extent of the wild exposure that this story would receive. In fact, Brie's story went viral, receiving approximately 64,000 likes and 35,000 retweets. Seeing as the story received so much coverage across the Twitter sphere, Brie's ex-boyfriend would have surely been shocked when seeing it broadcast across in the internet. If he had not regretted his bad deed at the time of her heated encounter, he would have surely begun to feel remorseful now. Whether or not Brie's ex-boyfriend would have regretted his decision, one thing is certain: the social media exposure provoked a response. As you will soon see, regret started to sink in soon enough. At this point, the fight was over. Brie had driven away from the apartment and had not interacted with her boyfriend or his mistress since. While it may have seemed that the feud had finally come to a close, there was one issue that remained unresolved. This, of course, is the issue of the stolen bag. Having found it in the car after leaving her boyfriend's apartment block, Brie had not returned the bag to her former passenger, who was its owner. Predictably, her former passenger was furious that her bag hadn't been returned to her, and so she decided to file a report for her stolen luggage. Now, Brie faced a potential legal problem on top of her relationship issues. Brie's solution to this problem was not just ingenious, but amusing to boot. She admitted that she did believe that someone had left a bag in her car, but because there was no proof of the bag's contents, she gave a bag of trash to her ex-boyfriend's mistress. While she may have escaped any form of legal consequence, Brie did not manage to come out of the situation completely unscathed. The fateful ride happened on the second day of her job trial with Uber, and the woman gave her a 1-star review. Not only that, but she also lodged a formal complaint to the company regarding Brie. As a result of these issues, Brie had no choice but to wave goodbye to her job as an Uber driver. Even with all parties to the dispute licking their wounds, the drama wasn't over yet. While they may have already gone their separate ways, Brie's ex-boyfriend refused to throw in the towel. He continued to send her messages even after things had ended as badly as they did. While he continuously tried to persuade her to talk to him, Brie refused to give in, especially since she had successfully moved on with her life. As ridiculous as it may seem, Brie's ex-boyfriend even tried to reconcile with her, giving her the lame excuse that he cheated out of boredom. Fortunately for Brie, not only was she strong-willed enough to keep the upper hand, but she also possessed leverage over the cheaters in the form of the missing luggage. Brie's former boyfriend just couldn't take a hint. Despite already being shut down, he continued trying to convince her to reconnect with him. While his intentions for the future may have been unclear, what was certain was that he had an ulterior motive for reaching out. After all, his mistress was still missing her luggage. Eventually, he resorted to begging Brie to return the luggage. However, as per usual, Brie managed to respond with a humorous comeback. Soon, Brie shared these messages on Twitter for all the world to see. Brie had many reasons to become infuriated. Not only did her boyfriend cheat on her, but she found out about his betrayal through a humiliating chance encounter. If that's not enough, her boyfriend's mistress decided to turn on Brie rather than teach the real wrongdoer a lesson. Despite all of these valid reasons to be angry, Brie decided against crying, complaining, or losing her temper. By getting revenge in the witty way that she did, Brie was the true winner in this dispute. This story was a prime example of unfaithfulness between romantic partners. While Brie's relationship with her boyfriend may have seemed genuine and healthy for a long time, it was ultimately built on hidden truths. This begs the question, can a relationship based on a lie survive the test of time? Based on this story, the answer is a resounding no. As the saying goes, a leopard never changes its spots. Once Brie's boyfriend had cheated on her the first time, she could bet that he would do so again in the future. There are plenty of facts about this story that make it almost seem planned. Out of all the Uber passengers that Brie could have fetched, it was her boyfriend's witness who had been assigned to her. Had that not happened, this gripping series of events would have never unfolded the way it did. While there may be a number of stories of love and betrayal on the internet, this is clearly one of the more famous examples. After all, Brie's tweets on the incident received tens of thousands of likes and retweets.